Hi, my name is Mary. Today FM plays the best music in Lambasa. Today FM rocks.
My name is Thomas. I'm here in Nakasi and I like to listen to Today FM because it rocks.
My name is Milenia. Today FM rocks here in Singatoka.
My name is Enrique and Today FM rocks here in Tabwa.
My name is Mary Jane. I love listening to Today FM here in Ba. Today FM rocks.
My name is Ilay Tiambal and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks here in Usur.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In the news tonight, NFP motion on sugar industry defeated. Speaker rejects Rambuka's complaint. And Kamlesh Arya walks away a free man.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama has labelled the motion raised by opposition MP Pio Tikunduandua as a waste of money and time. Tikunduandua moved a motion in Parliament to establish a bipartisan committee to collectively find solutions to revive the sugar industry. The motion was defeated by majority votes. Ali Kimbia with the story.
The motion claiming it will help develop the sugar industry was strongly opposed by the Prime Minister.
The motion says a bipartisan select committee. This is so that we can all collectively find solutions in an environment conducive to discussing issues of national importance.
There is absolutely no need to establish a bipartisan select committee on sugar to find solutions to revive the sugar industry.
Bainimarama says the government has done a lot to revive the industry and they will continue to do so.
This government is committed to making Fiji's sugar industry more efficient, not bogging it down with more bureaucracy. I therefore do not support the motion.
The Prime Minister also lashed out at NFP for their continuous yapping of the sugar industry.
NFP wants to tell the world that the sugar industry is failing, when in fact NFP is failing.
Bainimarama says there are policies in place to ensure the industry will grow in a sustainable manner. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
The Cabinet has endorsed a landmark national climate change policy that will guide the sustainable development of the Fijian economy through 2030. Speaking at the official dinner for the United Nations Secretary-General last night, Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama says this innovative policy meets the intertwined challenges that Antonio Guterres warned of. Ana Ravula reports.
The fiery commitment by the UNSG to the future and Fiji's children and grandchildren has driven Voreqe Bainimarama's work as both Prime Minister and COP23 President.
Through both our private conversations and public commitments over the past few days, it's become clear that the Secretary-General has taken this same leadership style to the helm of the United Nations, something we can all find hope in.
Bainimarama reiterated the UNSG's address in the Parliament can only be described as a history-making moment for the country.
I thank the Honourable Secretary-General for his high praise of Fiji and of our efforts to make this country a place of inclusiveness, equality, diversity and tolerance.
I said that I was feeling twice at home. At home because as a former parliamentarian, I'm always at home in the parliament, but particularly at home because it was in the Fijian parliament. And I really felt entirely at home during these days.
However, the Prime Minister adds he looks forward to continuing the progress at the Secretary-General's Climate Summit in New York and later COP25 in Chile. The UNSG departed for Tuvalu today. Ana Ravulo, FBC News.
The work to combat climate change is causing more global warming. The statement made by Daniel Graf, an international school Year 9 student, to the United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres about the fight against climate change. Sainiani Boiler reports Graf says world is not on track in the global fight.
13-year-old Daniel Graf said it's about time to get back on track on the fight against climate change by focusing on prevention.
However, do you also see the danger that more and more resources are invested in adaptation and mitigation methods, thus taking the focus off the fight of global warming beyond the target of 1.5 to 2 degrees, and instead resigning to believe that the worst case scenarios are likely and we now need to adapt?
While responding to Graf, UN Secretary-General Guterres said With the increasing carbon emission despite the Paris Agreement, increasing financial support is the only miracle to fight against climate change.
The decisions on 2020 is exactly financing. In addition to financing, we are having some successes. For instance, World Bank has just decided to double their amounts for climate action from 200 billion to 400 billion US dollars in 5 years, and to have 50 for mitigation and 50 for adaptation. Because one of the reasons why we were worried was that there would be a lot of concentration of funds in mitigation, but not in adaptation.
Guterres says the 4 atoll states in the world had suffered greatly, and we will also suffer soon if increasing carbon emissions continue. Sainia Nimboila, FBC News.
Parliament Speaker Ratu Epeli Nailatikau has ruled against a report brought to his attention by the opposition leader Sitiveni Rambuka. Rambuka lodged an official complaint alleging Attorney General Ayaz Said Kayum for misleading Parliament. Ali Kimbia reports.
Sitiveni Rambuka claimed that the Attorney General brought disrepute to Parliament when he said on Monday that he cannot waive procurement regulations, but the regulations allowed him to waive certain processes. Rambuka had asked Said Kayum why the waiver of tender for the Government Tenders Board was not applied when the opposition wanted their office renovated. Said Kayum in reply had said that regulations state that emergency purchases shall only be considered where there is an extreme emergency brought about by things such as natural disasters. Rambuka alleged that these comments by the AG were blatant lies, and the Privileges Committee should investigate the truth in what was said by Said Kayum. Rambuka said in his complaint that the minister does not have the powers to waive the regulations. Later he said that the minister has the powers to waive the tender process in certain special circumstances. The two are different issues which Rambuka erred on by mixing up the difference between a regulation and a tender process. While giving his ruling in Parliament this morning, Ratu Epeli says, after going through the comments made by the Attorney General, it is clear that there is no evidence to show that Said Kayum deliberately misled Parliament.
It is clear to me that neither of the statements quoted by the Honourable Leader of the Opposition are false or misleading. There is no law in this or any known jurisdiction which allows a minister to waive subsidiary laws.
Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
Former Bawani Dayal Memorial Primary School manager Kamlesh Arya is a free man after he was acquitted by the Suva High Court this afternoon. The High Court judge overturned the opinion of the 3 assessors and found him not guilty. Pranita Prakash reports.
The Fiji Independent Commission Against Corruption charged Kamlesh Arya with 1 count each of abuse of office and general dishonesty causing a loss in 2017. He was acquitted of the first count. For the second count, he was alleged to have dishonestly caused a risk of loss to Bawani Dayal Memorial School by authorizing over $116,000 free education and grant as loans, knowing the loss will occur or substantial risk of loss will occur to Bawani Dayal Memorial School. The alleged incident occurred in 2014 while Arya was employed in the public service as the registrar of the University of Fiji. The High Court judge said that the authorization was not done by Arya alone and it was a collective decision by the office bearers. The judge also said that the schools under the Arya Sabha had an inter-school loaning system which was in effect even before Arya became the school manager. The High Court judge also said that Arya had no dishonest intention of causing any loss. The judge also said that the money was paid back to the school within 2 years. Meanwhile, it was an emotional moment for Arya and his family, who could not hold the emotions in court when the High Court judge gave the verdict. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
The University of Fiji will appoint an independent committee to look into the recent comments made by senior academic Dr. Litiana Kurindrani. In email exchanges last week, Dr. Kurindrani had hit out at Law Student Association President Felipe Mbainivalu, comparing him to a barking Indian dog. University Acting Vice-Chancellor Professor Subramani says a meeting was held today between all parties, including Kurindrani and Mbainivalu. At the meeting, it was unanimously resolved that the issue would be considered and investigated by an independent committee, which would then provide a report to the university. Professor Subramani has urged all parties to await the investigation's outcome and to refrain from making any public statements until the investigation is completed. Still to come, Minister explains reasons behind counsellor shortage and programs underway to eradicate TB and brucellosis. Details after the break.
Nambula FM, nambandua ya nasere.
Oya uvasit sai sai lambasa, ya ndo talita ina warro nambula FM nambandua ya nasere.
Guya do tumeli ako na tao no hinga toka. Talita kina na warro nambula FM, nambandua ya nasere.
Wana mtumea nambula FM nambandua ya nasere nawalu. Na evengo fanya na tao.
The shortage of professional counsellors in schools is due to higher education institutions not providing courses on the subject. Speaking in Parliament, Education Minister Rosie Akbar says they've also noticed a lack of interest from students in the counselling field. Kelly Vadala reports.
Counselling is a specialist area and it's important to have fully qualified personnel for this job.
The Fiji National University offers a postgraduate diploma in mental health and postgraduate certificate in mental health nursing, which are more aligned to the medical profession. Obviously, neither of these qualifications support our needs in schools. The Fiji National University, however, offers some units in counselling in the Bachelor of Education qualification.
Opposition MP Salote Randrondo questioned the minister if there is any immediate solution to the shortage.
What is the immediate solution in regards to increase in budget and work with NGOs like Empower Pacific to be able to provide the counsellors to meet the urgent need that the schools are faced with right now.
With the support from Australian DFEC, we are in the process of appointing service providers to meet our counselling needs on a short-term basis. And I've just mentioned that we'll be working with the Ministry of Health and Medical Services and Ministry of Women because they are outsourcing counselling services.
Akbar reveals there are 41 officials within the ministry who have some kind of qualification in counselling, but this is not enough to cater for nearly 240,000 students. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
The state-of-the-art National Kidney Research and Treatment Centre is expected to begin operation in Nandera Nasinu within 2 months. Minister for Health and Medical Services Dr. Ifiremi Wangai-Nambete revealed this in Parliament when responding to a question on whether the ministry is considering other options to further reduce the cost of dialysis for kidney patients, which is currently being subsidised. Dr. Wangai-Nambete says the annual dialysis cost has been reduced by 70% and dialysis now costs as little as $75 per session in facilities affiliated with the Health Ministry.
We hope by July that our Nandera Center will be fully functional, will be running there. And also we've identified a place in Nandi, which will begin hopefully by the end of the year.
The Fiji Military Forces Black Rock facility in Nadi will benefit the Pacific region. Speaking in Parliament, Defence Minister Eni Seruratu says one of the key components of the camp is the construction of the UN training capacity, which focuses on peace operations. Seruratu reveals fencing work is currently underway and there's been a lot of interest in the facility from stakeholders.
It is anticipated that from May this year to December next year, the project will be fully completed. The good thing about this project is, although we will have the project management team, but in terms of the architectural design and of course in the construction as well, it will involve locals.
The Agriculture Ministry has implemented programs to eradicate brucellosis and tuberculosis diseases from infected farms. Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy says the 5 programs currently underway will also help rehabilitate farms. Kritika Kumar reports.
Farms and animals that will pass the brucellosis and tuberculosis tests will be given disease-free certification.
These farms will also become source of animals for other farms who could buy from this farm, and this farm will be certified, animals will be certified, and then the other farms where these animals will go will try to fence off that particular farm.
The Agriculture Minister says embryo transplant in cattle is also underway that is aimed to improve the dairy industry.
Western Division about 7 to 8 liters per day. In the Central Division we have about 4 liters per day milk per animal. We're looking at about 20 to 25 liters per day, which is what the potential is for the improved variety, improved breed that we have got.
The ministry has spent around $3.7 million in the past 6 years for dairy development and has also contributed towards farm advisory and trained farmers. Kritika Kumar, FBC News.
The lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, intersex and queer community commemorated International Day Against Homophobia, Transphobia and Biphobia today. House of Chameleon Chair Sulik Wanga says this is the first time the LGBTQI movement was able to secure a permit for a march through Suva City. Wanga says the day aimed at raising awareness of LGBTQI rights and the discrimination that many of its members continue to experience. The LGBTQI members participated in the Pride March today from the Suva Flea Market to Sukuna Park, followed by a Pride rally. Later in sports with Jamie, Latui to capitalise on power runs in new game format. But first, Akosita joins us for the latest in business.
Thanks, Jackie. Coming up after the break, foreign investment registration rakes in over $240,000. And in growing Fiji, Nambour Green Energy to resume operations. Stay with us.
For the best classic hits, I only listen to Gold FM here in Singapore. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Seni Rawa. I love listening to Gold FM here in Nosuri. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Dino. I'm from Outrigger, Coral Coast, Singapore. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Salote. I love listening to Gold FM here in Nosuri. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Bula, my name is Marida. Gold FM plays the best classics here in Outrigger.
Investment Fiji has handed over $240,000 in foreign investment registration certification fees collected from last August to January this year to the Economy Ministry. It received a total of 98 applications during that period. The highest number of registration certificates were received in August and October by Investment Fiji. Acting General Manager Ritesh Gosai says the wholesale, retail, manufacturing and tourism sectors continue to attract investors. Gosai says the number of applications received is an indication of strong investor confidence in the Fijian economy. Sharan from HFC Bank joins us now with the latest from the money world.
In the currencies market, the US dollar is hanging near a 2-week high against its peers. It's being held up by strong US economic data and a bounce in treasury yields. The US weekly jobless claims report came out today and pointed to sustained labor market strength for the world's biggest economy. Meanwhile, the euro and the pound were confronted with a number of bearish factors. The possibility of a chaotic departure of the UK from the EU pushed the pound to a 3-month low yesterday. And the Australian dollar was steady after soft domestic employment data amplified expectation of a rate cut by the Reserve Bank of Australia. And that's all from HFC Bank for this week. Vinaka.
Thanks, Sharon. Now here are today's exchange rates as set this morning. The sustained high value of the US dollar is affecting other currencies on the foreign exchange market. However, while our dollar slipped against the battling Chinese yuan and the US greenback as well as the Kenyan yen, it gained against the currencies of our two major trading partners, Australia and New Zealand, and rose against the euro as well. Now looking at commodities, the price of oil rose to over $63 a barrel. Gold was down about $10 at $1,285 per ounce, and silver also dropped, closing at $14.53 an ounce. In growing Fiji, the Korean-owned Nambour Green Energy Limited plant is expected to resume operations in the coming months. Minister for Infrastructure Chani Usamate says the private business began operations in 2017, which ceased last year because of a lack of wood chips which fuels the plant. Usamate further explained the company is in breach of its agreement to supply power to the national grid and is working with its stakeholders to get the plant back up and running. Usamate was responding to an oral question from opposition MP William Ngavoka on the status of the renewable energy plant's operations.
As I mentioned, it is a private company, so we can't really say what is exactly going to happen within the workings of that company. But news that I've been provided for that they may well be in operation again within 2 months or so. But I cannot vouch for that because, as I said, they are a private company.
And that's it from Business Tonight. Jamie is up next with sports.
Thanks, Akko, and good evening. Up ahead in sports, Fiji Sevens aim for consistency in London, and 11 nations to participate in Fiji Open Tennis. This and more coming up.
Hi, I'm Jyotishma. I'm from Singatoka. I love listening to Mirchi FM. Mirchi FM is hot.
Mirchi FM is #1.
I'm Charlene Robert. Mirchi FM rocks in Lambasa.
I'm Soname Nasori Jackson. Mirchi FM is hot.
My name is Raymond Dutt. I'm a Baba Singh Alliance. Mirchi FM is hot in Lambasa.
I'm Pritika from Jax Nasori. I love listening to Mirchi FM here in Nasori. Mirchi FM is hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Leading sports tonight, Wallabies fullback Israel Folau has been sacked by the Australian Rugby Union. Folau was found guilty of a high-level breach of Rugby Australia's Code of Conduct for a post on social media that said hell awaits drunks, homosexuals, adulterers and others. Fiji Airways Sevens assistant coach Kane Jury says maintaining their core players throughout the season has worked well for the team. Jury says in a high-intensity tournament like the World Series, maintaining cohesion is vital. Corey Tandolala reports.
Despite minor changes to the Fiji Sevens squad this season, the national team has managed to stay relevant throughout the series.
But everybody else has stayed pretty relatively the same, which I think is really important for high-performance teams. The ability to have cohesion in your team is massively important, and this squad hasn't changed a huge amount over the season too. There's been a few changes, but not a huge amount.
The Gareth Baber coached side will be focusing on its restart and consistency in the next two tournaments.
We know a lot about them already, but for us it's always about consistency. Consistency at restarts, consistency with our defence, with our tackle technique, and that's got to be our biggest focus.
The Fiji Sevens side will kick off its London Sevens campaign against Kenya next Saturday before facing France and Samoa on Sunday. Corey Tandolala, FBC Sports.
The Swire Shipping Fijian Latui expects a tough battle in its opening match of the Global Rapid Rugby competition against the Pacific rival Kangifa Samoa tomorrow at Lautoka's Churchill Park. The Latui has spent the last 3 weeks familiarizing themselves with the technical aspects of the game and believe it's much suited to Fijian rugby. Corey Tandolala reports.
The Senirusi Seruvakula coached side has been working on its game plans to capitalize on power runs in the new game format.
Our focus is our game. It's a new start for us, and so that we can understand the rule by playing an opposition, and then it's a good foundation for us to play against the Western Force, because they've been playing more than 6 games and they understand the rule and they've been unbeaten, and so this is a good foundation for us playing against Western Samoa. But we don't underestimate our opponent. We come tomorrow and be ready, and we want to win tomorrow.
Team player Frank Lomani says the new format will work in their favor as Fijians are known for their fast-paced game.
I think they've just implemented the Fijian style of rugby in this tournament, because Fijian likes to take the ball and keep the ball in hand, throwing the ball from any angle, offloading, and yeah, I think it's going to be exciting.
The Latui will meet Kangifa Samoa at 3 p.m. at Lautoka's Churchill Park tomorrow. Corey Tandolala, FBC Sports.
Fiji National Sports Commission Chair Peter Mazie has commended the initiative taken by deaf sports in the country to raise funds and not rely completely on government. Mazie says alongside deaf sports, the United Blind Association is leading the way for other sporting federations to find avenues to generate funds. He adds the association is currently having its walkathon from Suva to Nandi to raise money for future events.
The one thing that I've noticed in Fiji, which has been great, we started working 3-4 years ago with the deaf sports, and they had an amazing ability for raising funds, and so government has assisted them whenever they needed for their tournaments, and of course we got into the World Rugby League games.
Fiji will host 175 players from 11 nations in the 2019 Fiji Open Tennis Tournament. The national team to the Pacific Games will also participate in the 5-day event at Denarau. This year marks the 112th year of the Fiji Open, and Fiji Tennis Secretary Sachin Reddy says competition is expected to be a lot tougher than previous years.
And it's going to continue till Sunday. So it's a 5-day event with a lot of matches to watch and some really exciting, high-level competition as well to be seen.
Meanwhile, Tennis Fiji will also be hosting the second annual Nations Cup later this month. 70 players from 15 countries will participate in this year's competition. Tennis Fiji received corporate support of $10,000 today for the tournament from the Punjas group of companies. The tournament will also provide build-up matches for Team Fiji in their preparation for the Pacific Games that will be held in Samoa in July. The most highly anticipated return of the Super Rugby season has been confirmed. All Blacks flanker Sam Cane is coming back via the Chiefs bench tomorrow in their Super Rugby showdown against the Blues. Kane's return is extra special given he suffered a neck break 7 months ago. That's it from Sports Tonight. You can join Angie later on with weather and in new media. The latest Apple update could change the way you text. Details coming up.
मैं नवनीत नंद नंबुआ लुम्बुआ से जैसे ट्रेनी नॉर्थ मशहूर है वैसे रेडियो फीजी 2 भी सभी जगह मशहूर है। रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
सीमा नकाशी से मैं रेडियो फीजी 2 पसंद करती हूँ सुनने के लिए। रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
मैं हूँ अंकल किंग सिंगाटोका टाउन के टैक्सी ड्राइवर जैसे रग्बी फेमस है वैसे।
Apple is set to reveal its new iPhone update that will change the way we text for good. It's weather time now with Angie.
Hello there and welcome to the Weather World. Are you as excited as I am? Of course you are. The weekend is here and the weather is doing well. But this weather is evident to change in the weekend. Stay with me for more updates. Taking a look in the west, the sun was mild. Good weather is always discovered here. Eastwards from Peck Harbour to Suva, quite cool with very light sunny spells and on and off showers. And up north, comfortable, but there is more indication of showers. At sea, still winds 10 to 15 knots, moderate to rough seas. For the tides, low tide at 12:22 a.m. with high tide at 6:36 a.m. Sunrise at 6:25. For tomorrow, grey weather back in the picture. A drippy day is also in the forecast. Tomorrow's temps, Suva and Savu will be at 28 degrees. And looking further on to Sunday, heavy showers will unleash, so stay safe and keep warm. And that's all from the FBC Weather World. Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. In Fijian Pulse tonight, we asked, what do you think are the Fijian Latui's chances of winning the Rapid Rugby that will be played tomorrow?
They have a pretty good chance at winning. They're pretty good out on the field. So, yeah, all the best to the guys.
Yeah, Fiji can beat Samoa because they play fast rugby.
I believe, yes, Fiji can win.
Yes, definitely, because Fiji plays open and fast-paced rugby.
Yeah, I think they can win because, they're a very good team, I think. So, yeah.
I believe he has a good chance of winning tomorrow. They'll win this Saturday. I'm 100% sure because it's really suit the way Fijian play.
Recapping the main stories for tonight, NFP motion on sugar industry defeated. Speaker rejects Rambuka's complaint and Kamlesh Arya walks away a free man. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. Our poll question we're asking this week, should people stop using racist idioms? Visit our FBC website to answer. And finally, our shot of the day. While everyone was enjoying their food at GPH during the CAP meeting, the Samoan Prime Minister decided to go local. The picture has since gone viral on social media. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj. Share it with us via Facebook page, FBC News. Follow us on Twitter at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. That was your FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, have a safe and enjoyable weekend. Bye for now.
Bula, neva ngo malakai leloma, ngo ngai nakas on rong ng Bula FM, nambang 2 na sere.
Hoya ubasit sai sa Lambasa, ya on talitay na warong ng Bula FM, nambang 2 na sere.
Guya da Kimeli, ako na tao no hinga toka, talitay kina na warong ng Bula FM, nambang 2 na sere.
Warong tuna ng Bula FM, nambang 2 na sere nawaluan.
Neva ngo fani na tao no singa toka, kita on talitay ka ng Bula FM, nambang 2 na sere.
Bula FM, nambang 2 na sere.